Good morning and welcome to the WCA 2015 European Pro Qualifier. We are in the final day of our matches, and today we will crown a champion for all three of our games, WarCraft III, Heroes of the Storm, and Hearthstone. Hearthstone is going to be the first match that we'll show, our consolation match, and the two players will be Kolento from the Ukraine and StanCifka from the Czech Republic. They'll be playing for a $1,500 difference in this matchup. Third place is already set to go to China, and the winner of this matchup will face Life Coach in the finals. Both players are almost ready. Let's start the match.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see this match. Kolento versus StanCifka, Cloud9 versus Team Luminosity. They played before, and I just can't stop thinking about the lineups, because it seems that StanCifka is really behind with that Paladin, but he somehow managed to pull the win from Kolento before. So do you think the mental advantage that he won before will push him through to win again?
Oh, most certainly. StanCifka's got kind of an edge here because he's already beaten him once, so beating him again shouldn't be too hard, right? Once you've done it once, you've kind of achieved that, so this is where it matters, though. This is going to give him some more money. He's already gone to China, and that Paladin's done some work this tournament. It's really surprised, I think, both of us.
Let's talk about the matchups overall. So StanCifka is bringing Paladin, as you mentioned. What else? So
mid-range Paladin with the mid-range Hunter, which is less, and well, the other players have brought more aggressive versions. He's brought more of a standard Houndmaster, Web Spinner, mid-Hunter, and what was the other deck he brought? The mid-Warlock, the Zulok. Now that deck has been quite troublesome for StanCifka. He's really struggled sometimes to find wins with that.
He went 0-3 with the deck yesterday versus Life Coach, and well, it wasn't doing that well. He's running Bane of Doom, but getting some imps instead of Doom Guards. He got Morganis in the first days, but he needs to get something really good from it to be able to have a win with the deck. On the other hand, Kolento is bringing mid-range Hunter, very aggressive version as well, Green Patron, and the Rogue. But the players are ready. Game 1 starts now of the consolation final of WCA Europe.
So Rogue cues into its good matchup here. Kolento must be happier, keeping that Fan of Knives ready for that Mustafa battle when it comes down. Violet Teacher also a really good card. Start building those tokens to contest stuff like Mustafa battle and the smaller minions. StanCifka still not able to chew any fruits while he's there. You know, that banana has really helped him during this series. Yeah,
he's definitely banned from eating bananas on stage. We'll see if he can focus now. You can see him struggle a bit. You know, the night was long. But looking at his hand, again, it's like starting with the Shield of Me, bought Master, Quartermaster. So we'll see if he will be able to buff some minions, buff some recruits with the Quartermaster, because even though he's getting this hand almost every time with the Paladin, he ends up with the 5-drop being 2-5 and not doing much. What can you say about Kolento's hand? Like you've mentioned Fan of Knives. What do you think about Violet Teacher and Lothar in this matchup?
Violet Teacher is excellent because it helps generate some pressure to be able to challenge stuff like Mustafa Battle and the smaller minions. Lotheb's good, it locks out potential Consecrate equality board, so come turn 6 for StanCifka, Lotheb might be able to lock out a big board if Kolento maybe finds a prep or something to go with that Fan of Knives to generate more tokens. But yeah, even the Shredder pickup's really good here. So Kolento's finding those minions quite early, which he has struggled with in previous games, and he'll be able to put some pressure on. But we've always said StanCifka's hand has been good, but it kind of doesn't go that way a few turns, and he always gets upset.
Yeah, this is because this matchup is just so bad for Paladin. Even though Kolento doesn't really have a free job right now, just going with the Fan of Knives might be a necessity just to cycle it. Also, it tells your opponent that you might not have the second one, your hand is really bad, you want to have something else. Overall, this matchup is great for Rogue. Paladin doesn't have burst, so Paladin will rely on building up a board that's significant and will be able to pull through. But Rogue has so many AoE removals with Blade Flurry buffed by Deadly Poison. It can just clear the board instantly. Like even here, Master for Battle into that Fan of Knives, Kolento will be able to clear it with just one spell and a weapon attack.
But this is what Kolento's game plan will be. He'll just respond to a lot of the board presence that StanCifka generates, and then start to squeeze in some minions himself, some 4-drops, some 5-drops, And then those big board clears come, and the Paladin just really struggles to get back into the game after that. So StanCifka needs to be really patient, not commit too much to the board. Wait till he sees some blade flurries and some stuff like that first. But looking at StanCifka, he has 2 weapon removal in hand, so he has ways to deal with big weapons.
That is a plot twist, because normally Paladin doesn't run those cards. Sometimes Hearthstone Jones is something that is in the deck, but he's 2 of them with Ooze, and this might be really difficult for Kolento, where he tries to buff the weapon and use it maybe for the next turn for the flurry, and suddenly the weapon disappears, especially when the first weapon removal comes into play. If he plays Hearthstone first, then Kolento would definitely not expect the Ooze coming after.
Yeah, we didn't actually see the Ooze until now, so StanCifka's been able to hide that pretty well. And these 2 weapon removals are definitely here for the Patron matchup. It definitely helps with that. But it plays into the favor of going against Rogue, which is a hard matchup. And he does actually throw the Ooze out here, getting rid of that 1/1 weapon so that shield can't be contested, and he builds a decent board here. So he gives Kolento some stuff to think about.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be a bit more aggressive, especially because there are so many AoEs, and the long game favors the Rogue, who will be able to draw every card in the deck using cards like Sprint. And even Tyrion, you know, on 8, you think, hey, I'm playing my legendary card, it's so great, but then just sap and you lost 8 mana to 2 mana from the Rogue. Kolento now needs to figure out what to do with those 2 minions. He can't really remove them. There is Sabotage. I think just playing a minion like a Shredder is possibly one of the things.
Low5 comes down here, locking out those spells. He does get cleared up by these minions pretty easily. Shredder is a bit safer because it might drop something that can't be contested, maybe like a Millhouse, but you're still relying on a lot of RNG here. So Kolento seems to think this body is enough just to hold off StanCifka's aggression just for now until he can start committing some Shredders, which are a little bit safer.
Do you think there is any significance to stopping the coin from being played on turn 6? On turn 5, to have 6 mana? Perhaps not with an empty board like Kolento had. He only had a low-5, because it does stop like Equality Consecrate and stuff like that. But around this turn, you're only really going to see stuff like True Silver, some minions. I think Kolento just used it as a body, and he doesn't really value low-5's effect as much, because the Paladin really lacks kind of swingy spells apart from Equality Consecrate. Other than that, that's basically it. So stopping a Lay on the Hands might help you, but ultimately that's very situational. Okay, so Lothar mostly was there to stop the minions from attacking. A very interesting situation, because he used the Fan of Knives before. This board would be amazing with Fan of Knives and Foulness in his hand, but he doesn't have it. He used both of them. Flurry is a card that's still not there. So this is the time for the Pilot to Shredder. He is playing from behind, and Rogue is a tempo deck. Rogue wants to be ahead, wants to attack and just pump minions, but he needs to play those minions to force Cifka to trade into them. Yeah,
well, that's how he helps deal with the board as well as the AoE spells, which he doesn't have access to. He has the weapon buffs ready, but he doesn't have the blade flurries, and Kolento's kind of struggled with that. He's either got one or the other most of the time in the matches we've had during this week. But StanCifka's really putting on a lot of aggression. He's got a big board, he can start trading, he can be more aggressive, he's got a lot of options available to him.
He can deal 10 points of damage this turn, just attacking with minions to face, and this is a very key decision for him. If he wants to continue trading with Rogue, or is he just going to be aggressive? His hand doesn't provide any kind of burst, so probably trading is safer, but on the other hand, it just gives Rogue the time to get that flurry, to be able to turn around the game.
I mean, we've discussed how you generally don't want the Rogue to have any minions on board because of the weapon buffs, but it's not really that time yet without a preparation, but you still have to consider prep Tinkers, attack, Blade Flurry, and he loses his board then, which he doesn't want to see. So this is a safer option for Paladin, because Paladin needs the board to win the game.
That's absolutely true. So for Kolento, he can build a big board with Violet Teacher, Preparation, Eviscerate, Weapon Up, Deadly Poison.
So many.
Create a lot of minions and also kill some of the stuff on board, just attacking with the weapon, using Eviscerate. Maybe that will be the very important point, because if he deals with this board right now, then next turn, 7, 8 mana. Well, Stanislav can play Tyrion with the coin.
But Tyrion's very prone to sap. And like you said, you kind of waste an entire turn playing that card to get sapped for 2 mana. And 2 mana for a rogue isn't much. They can do other stuff with that. So they can put on more aggression, develop a bigger board, and you've lost that Taunt Divine Shield. And that just gives them an opportunity to build a board to be able to contest Tyrion next time he's played. So sap will definitely be on his mind when Tyrion becomes available to him.
Yeah, but sometimes you cannot do much. You cannot play around sap. You just have to play your best minion. Because what would you play Quartermaster? Be like, oh, this is so bad. He's definitely not sapping that.
Exactly. You have to go with your best plays. Sometimes you just can't avoid them. But it's something he'll be afraid of, or something he'll definitely consider once he plays that card, and hope that Kolento just doesn't have it.
There's Sylvanas, but Tyrion still offers more. So it'll be a question: do you use the coin, or maybe coin will be more useful later?
Another thing to consider is the weapon as well. Harrison can draw him a card. Is this weapon deadly enough? Deadly poison. Is it deadly enough to deal with? What do you think?
I think it's good to deal with the weapon buffed by deadly poison. Often when there is a Tinker, you will not have time to destroy it with Harrison because the rogue Tinkers, attacks, and flurries. So if you have something like this, it might be worth it. But Tyrion, a very strong play by StanCifka, just aiming and hoping that there is no sap for Kolento. And in fact, there is none. No.
He has an opportunity to draw one with the Azure Drake, so he does have another chance to get it. But this Tyrion's going to sit pretty strong here. He's got ways to deal with it. He could
Sabotage.
Sabotage, yeah. He could try and line up a Sabotage, a bit RNG. But Sabotage will be really powerful once the true Silver Champion comes into play. So
absolutely.
This Sabotage is a very interesting addition by Kolento, and I think we've seen mixed results, but when it's worked well, and the minion removals are usually quite relevant for this rogue to regain the board. So I'm liking this kind of like flavor pick from Kolento.
I also like how StanCifka is playing this matchup aggressively, and just putting Kolento to 15 means that he has to mind his health. He cannot just attack blindly into the Tyrion, killing him without destroying the weapon, because he'll put out 9 health and then 5 damage from Ashbringer. That's a lot of damage incoming. We just die in 1 turn. So he needs to make a decision very fast. Time is running out. Azure Drake seems like a proper play to just try to get that sap. No sap for Kolento, and that would be a lot of damage coming. 7 damage. StanCifka can still destroy the weapon.
No, Kolento had the opportunity to clear that Tyrion this turn. He could have Blade Flurried, but you're still giving him a 5/5 weapon, so he can still do a decent amount of damage with the weapon. So he'll probably want to be able to clear Tyrion when he can Sabotage after it, so he can get some value. So the weapon gets no value at all. Taking an extra 1 damage from Tyrion, instead of just taking 5 damage from True Silver, probably doesn't make much difference right now to him. He wants to get as much value as he can from the Sabotage.
Oh man, a Zombie Chow for StanCifka. That's a dead card at this point. You're still trading, but you don't want to give Rogue 5 points of health. And Zombie Chow is so easy to remove with Blade Flurry. Now StanCifka needs to decide if he wants to put Kolento on 9 or is Azure Drake too dangerous. And most of the time when you're playing versus Rogue, Azure Drake is really dangerous with all the spell damage that's increased. You don't even need to buff your weapons most of the time, because Flurry will deal 2 points of damage itself, backstabs for free.
Yeah, the Azure Drake's dangerous. He does get rid of it. He feels it was too much of a threat. Like you said, it buffs the spell power, and Rogue does use a lot of spell power. But now SI7 shows up, so Tyrion can be removed that way. He can hold on to some of his more valuable cards like Tinkers and Blade Flurry, and he can also use that Sabotage. But how is he going to go about it? He needs to do it in a specific order to get the combo, but he might not be able to get the Sabotage combo. He's got to kind of choose if he wants to play both, so it's very interesting where he'll go from here. I think we'll see a Shredder maybe. Yeah,
I think like Shredder into SI Agent killing Tyrion and weapon up, 1/1 attacking into the 1/1 to avoid a possible Quartermaster makes a lot of sense, but you want to think about other options as well. Is there a possibility to Sabotage this turn, or like kill Tyrion and Sabotage? I don't think there is, unless you actually attack Tyrion. If you weapon up, attack Tyrion with a dude and a weapon, and then you Sabotage. Oh, you have to empower this. You have to combo the Sabotage as well.
Looks like Tinkers is actually coming down here. SI7 clears up this Tyrion, and he's got some burst damage available to him as well. So this, he didn't get the buff on the combo, so the 1-1 clears the Spider, so he's setting up for a nice Blade Flurry come next turn. But StanCifka's put a lot of pressure on his life total here. And this will be it, actually. The Quartermaster will secure the game.
That's 5. Yep, that's exactly 15 points of damage. So StanCifka is taking game number 1 versus Kolento in the Constellation Final. Paladin, who was the weakest link, taking this first game. And yeah, that's putting StanCifka in a very good position where the Hunter that he brought and Zoo can actually win versus those decks that Kolento brought. Paladin was the weakest link, and it's pulling through.
The thing is, we say Paladin is the weakest link in this deck, and definitely on paper it is, but StanCifka's had an amazing tournament with this class. Considering it's a weaker deck in the metagame right now, he's gone really far with the deck. He's gone a lot further than I imagined, and the deck that has let him down the most is one of the decks that's really good in the meta right now, which is the Midlock. So I think the Midlock game is the most important match for StanCifka, just because he hasn't had a success rate with it, which we'd imagine with a deck of that power.
Oh yeah, certainly. I'm still like thinking about the previous game where Kolento, he kind of killed himself while not killing the recruit, attacking into that Hunter Creeper, increasing its damage potential. So putting StanCifka was just missing 2 points of damage to finish the game off.
He was a bit greedy, I guess, with the Blade Flurry, but we have mentioned it's sometimes very hard for the Paladin to find that extra bit of damage. And like, he couldn't True Silver because he had the Ashbringer up. So maybe Kolento felt just safe. He felt he didn't have the burst he needed. Consecrate wouldn't have been enough. Yeah,
Consecrate, Quartermaster.
So Quartermaster was the only thing that really closed the game out for him.
That's really interesting. All right, but game 2 is ready. We're having the mulligans right now. Hunter from StanCifka versus Green Patron from Kolento. What do we know about this matchup?
So this Hunter will need to gain some really good early pressure. And if he can just pressure the Warrior enough that he just can't deal with the damage he's taken from like weapon attacking his minions and the hero power and the charge minions and all that aggression Hunter gets up, the Warrior can just be exhausted before he even reaches that combo turn. And straight away he starts off the Fiery Warrior, which is a great card, but it does take its toll after a while, these weapon attacks. So the Hunter just needs to beat him really fast, basically.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm looking at the hands of those players, and I like both of them. From Kolento, as you said, Fireworks is very important, but he has a lot of draw, and this is what Patron needs. Draw with minions. You play minions, they can trade, they can kill other small minions, but you can also draw those combo cards, you can draw into Thorison. And for now, it's looking all right from Kolento's perspective. But for StanCifka as well, great curve, double Mad Scientist, double Animal Companion, that might be a lot of pressure, and that's something that he needs.
And Huffers here would be really good. They put on good pressure. Misha's good as well. It challenges the Fiery War Axe. You might have to use that Inner Rage. So, and he's got back-to-back Animal Companions as well, with other options available to him. So StanCifka's looking good, but combo decks, as we know, need to draw cards, and Kolento has a lot of draw options in his hand, and this will definitely play in his favor. But can StanCifka beat him before he draws everything he needs? That's the big question.
Yeah, that's absolutely the biggest question here. The strategy is to win before turn 7, 8, or just put enough pressure so that you can win on 8 or 9 as a Hunter. Because if you keep Patron on 25, 20 plus health, and those big turns come over, then Kolento is just going to explode with combos and can OTK you with double thralling, dealing 40 points of damage in one turn.
Yeah, we've seen that this week. Lots of thralling combos come down, lots of damage from hand. He goes for the Animal Companion, finds that Huffer, finds that damage, but now he needs to consider, can Kolento draw more cards from this Acolyte, and will it protect his Huffer? And this way, he forces a Fiery War Axe into Huffer. So that's like guaranteed 8 damage and a trap coming down, so a lot of aggression from StanCifka here.
That's very smart. And also, the trap coming down makes the next draw he has a bigger quality, because you will not draw into that trap. That trap is already in play. Thinning your deck and cycling cards is very important as a strategy as well.
Yeah, Scientist is excellent in any deck that has secrets, because you cheat the secret out from your deck, so you don't have to draw it. It usually, in some decks, even costs less mana, like Mage, for example. and it thins your deck, so you don't draw into those clunky draws. You might draw into something better other than that trap. So this hover does go down. He takes 4 damage to the face again, so 8 damage from that hover is really good value.
Can he get another hover? Because he has a freezing trap, he can risk it. Ah, that's a Leok. But at least the Leok will stay. There's no weapon to kill the Leok, and also the freezing trap is going to protect it from the 2/4.
Leok was probably the worst one here. Leok can actually be really helpful if you have a board, because it can help you trade up. But if you're on a solo board, if you're just playing it as a minion on its own, you definitely want Huffer or Misha. Huffer is definitely better here because he's racing him right now, but Misha is a good defensive wall. So first Warsong Commander comes down here, he knows that he needs to pop this trap using the Cruel Taskmaster, and now he creates a trade opportunity here with his Gnomish Inventor, and it lives as well, so it has an opportunity to trade again, so very good play from Kolento there.
That's really smart, and he is at 19, so if he keeps that health pool for a couple of next turns, he'll be in a very good position. He also picked up good cards, Execute, and he has some combo pieces, Frauding, Green Patron. If he'll be able to play Green Patron in the next 2 turns and maybe multiply it, he'll be in a very good position. For Stanislav, there's nothing really solid that he can play this turn. Mad Scientist is just a 2/2, Glaivezuka might be a necessity. Banish the Hound, you probably want to keep it till that final turn where the patrons explode, you unleash, you kill command, and you can deal around 12 to 14 points of damage just for 8 mana.
Yeah, it's one of his win conditions when this patron combo comes down. The problem is, do you really want to leave a Warsong Commander alive? It might come at Hunter's Mark here with Apollo the Glaivezuka. And he actually does unleash the Hound, drops the Hunter's Mark, and gets rid of these minions. That Warsong Commander on its own at this point can be quite dangerous, and he felt the need to get rid of it.
Absolutely. Especially with the possible patron on 6, which will just charge into the Mad Scientist and create another patron. But there is another Warsong for Kolento, so he has the tools. Now, what can he do? Unfortunately for him, he will be not able to play patron and multiply it. He probably just needs to continue drawing cards. And he might start thinking about armoring up, especially because Hunter just has 2 cards in hand.
Gnomish and Armor Up seems pretty good. You can Gnomish first, see what he finds. You might find something that's playable. Maybe another Fiery War Axe. We have seen Fiery War Axe only been running 1 recently in some decks. They don't feel it's as important as Death Spite. But like you said, StanCifka's starting to run out of steam, and Kolento can really capitalize on this by using his hero power to start negating the Hunter's hero power and slow him down until those crucial turns 8 and 9 and start to snowball out of control with the patron cards.
That's absolutely true. What does Stanislav need to win this game? He has Mad Scientist, that's not that much pressure. Glaivezuka is going to offer at least 5 points of damage. Does he really need to top deck a high main? Or... oh man, just this Mad Scientist dying to Frauding.
I think high main would be a fantastic draw for him.
Oh, that's a high main.
And a freezing trap to protect it from at least 1 minion. This Frothing Berserker is going to have a very easy way to trade into it because the Warsong could go into the freezing trap first. He'll also be able to gain some charge on his other minions, such as Cruel Taskmaster and Acolyte of Pain. But
this turn is actually kill command and Glaivezuka attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to deal, especially because you're killing the second Warsong Commander, so it'll be super safe. You'll be thinking there is no more charge. Oh, he just goes for the high main.
Just goes for the Lion King there, hoping to put on some more aggression, but Kolento has plenty of ways to deal with this, and perhaps even the hyenas that come down. I do agree with you there. Kill Command Glaivezuka would be excellent. You'd be able to clear up that last Warsong Commander.
He also picked up Whirlwind. That's perfect for him. He will be able to play Patron, Whirlwind, Execute, then attack with one of those minions to get it returned to his hand, and then kill, maybe even attack with Frauding, get the Frauding back.
The Frauding can deal a lot of damage here, though. So it looks like the Execute's coming out, so he'll be able to trade with his 1 patron into these. He'll generate some more patrons.
And clear the board.
And he'll clear the board, but not only that, this Frothing's going to be huge.
Well, Frauding will be 12 attack, so 12 attack to face is a lot, and not only that, you're just building up the board, and suddenly Stanislav doesn't have any way to deal with all those things. Do you think that playing Jaime on that specific spot was a mistake?
if you look at how Kolento responded, yeah, he wouldn't have been able to do this play specifically. He would have had to really consider the slower option, draw some more cards, find some more resources. But Kolento takes this game, he ties it up. Kolento's back in, he's here to play, and these players are going to go to the game number 3, tied up and even. How do you feel? Who do you think's got the edge here if you look at the matchups?
Well, if you look at the matchups, you mentioned many times that StanCifka didn't have success with the Zoo, but Kolento didn't have much success with the Rogue either. So whoever wins, Zoo or Rogue, is the key thing. I think Hunters won't have a problem overall. Hunter for StanCifka will have a good matchup versus Rogue. Hunter for Kolento will have a good matchup versus Zoo. But this Rogue and Zoo, man, like, I don't know.
Wouldn't it be the dream setup? It goes 2-2, and the last 2 decks are Rogue and Warlock. The two decks that really have struggled in this tournament for them, and this would be the redeeming factor for them. The one moment where these decks could really shine and steal the win, and then they get to fight Life Coach in the grand finals.
I would love to watch it. I would love to watch it. But Life Coach, he won 6-0 versus StanCifka. He won versus him 3-0 yesterday, and 2 days ago he won versus him 3-0. I kind of want to see StanCifka facing Life Coach for the 3rd time and see if 3 times the charm. Can he finally face him prepared with his lineups, or is he just going to get decimated? But Kolento has a good chance to win versus StanCifka as well, and Kolento Life Coach grand final, something to be waiting for.
That's Clash of the Titans right there. 2 of the world's best players could be in the grand finals, and we saw Kolento and Life Coach play in the round robin, and that was an intense series. So technical, so skillful. We saw some plays which were just absolutely incredible. Noting that Druid game where Life Coach survived on 1 health as Kolento actually went into fatigue. But we're going to the next game here. We have the Warlock, the letdown deck so far for StanCifka. Let's see if he can actually do something here. And Kolento rocking that Hunter, something that's been very consistent in this tournament for all the players.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter is doing great for most of the players overall. And that's a good matchup in theory. That's a good matchup for Kolento because of things like Unleash the Hounds, being able to clear the board, being able to push with the damage. Kolento's hero power is doing 2 damage. StanCifka's hero power is doing 2 damage to StanCifka. But StanCifka has a very good opening, I feel. Nerubian X with power overwhelming, being able to put those 4/4 Nerubians. They're really annoying for the Hunter, and instead of just going for face, he will need to deal with them first. But this might give StanCifka enough time to play more minions and build up a very decent board.
And they can challenge stuff like Misha and Piloted Treaders, so with the overwhelming, you clear a good mid-drop body, and you gain a 4/4 yourself. Like you said, very good. He picks up the Haunted Creeper here now, so he can challenge some of the smaller minions from Kolento. He does run Web Spinners, stuff like that. So, you know, StanCifka's looking pretty decent, but Kolento, on the other hand, he has a nice curve. He has a solid curve up to 5, up to 6 now.
6 now.
So excellent for Kolento. He must be happy with these draws.
There will be a lot of minion trading, I suppose, and we can see it already. Kolento just going for the spider, trying to limit the advantage. Oh, there is Direwolf Alpha.
Direwolf Alpha is another way to get one of these eggs popped. He might hold on to it till he feels that he can trade in something a bit higher, so he definitely gets the egg to hatch. The thing is, he's got the overwhelming for 1 egg, and then he has the Direwolf Alpha the other egg, and popping these eggs will be really important for him to put pressure on Kolento and the board.
Yeah, but on the other hand, this is a very weird situation now, where if you cast Power Overwhelming to kill the spider, you deny the beast, but on the other hand, you have a 4/4 that's just going to die to the weapon attack and one of the Spectral Spiders, and you are not able to clear both of them because you have a second 1/1. So Nerubian playing a second Nerubian egg and hoping that you might get Argus, or just buff it next turn with Direwolf Alpha and attack into something, deal damage, get double 4/4. It's probably the best play, but he decides to go with that power right now. Just he wants to be aggressive versus the Hunter, pressure Hunter and force Hunter to trade in his minions.
Yeah, he generates the first 4/4 here, and he still has a Direwolf Alpha, like we've said, to make some value out of this other egg. Bane of Doom as well. It's been a very interesting card for StanCifka. He's found a lot of success with it, finding double Mal'Ganis in a set with ties, but he also found Blood Imp, and the one game which just did nothing. It just really crippled his game. Kolento here can play a Shredder here, nice stable, bulky minion, which has a nice sticky effect, get another creature. But he has to consider how he wants to get rid of this stuff. This bow could actually get rid of the 4/4 if he wants to, and he could trade in the Haunted Creeper.
I think that's decent, because Pilot Shredder is possibly the best play you can have this turn. You want to protect Pilot Shredder as well, and if you attack into the Spider with your Spider into the Nerubian and weapon, you take 4 damage, you go down to 20. But Zul normally doesn't have that much burst. There is 1 power is already out, and need to attack damage. The double Doom Guard somewhere there. I like just clearing, protecting your Shredder, and even if there is a Defender of Argus, the egg is going to get popped, and the Spider is going to die, but you're still getting something. And you have the Spectre Spiders on board.
Yes, StanCifka will have to respond here. He's got Implosion available to him if he feels he wants to crack open this Shredder and find out what's inside, but what's inside could be troublesome for him, so he's got a lot of things to consider here. He could use the Direwolf Alpha and trade his 2 minions in, and he gets the 4/4, and he gets the Silence. Silence seems... I think I prefer that play, to be honest, Silence to the Direwolf Alpha, but another thing to consider, Hunter does have some good Silence targets, Savannah Jaime being one of them. Mad Scientist, so maybe he values the Silence more at this point. Finds the Shielded Mini-Bolt, that's a very good card to come from a Shredder.
Yeah, it's right now this game is about minion trading, so Shielded Mini-Bot will be able to kill a couple of demons. Lothar, a massive card being dropped on the board, and Kolento suddenly goes for the aggressive stand, and you know, with Lothar, he is challenging the board so much, and the life total from Stanislav, that Stanislav will be the one forced to trade.
Another thing is, Lothar blocks out another Power of Overwhelming. Power of Overwhelming works really well with these little imps, because it can just do a clean trade with a 1/1 minion into that 5-drop, which is a lot of value. But Direwolf Alpha here is going to get a lot of value. He's going to be able to pop this egg and clear out this Lothar with little trouble, really. So egg's coming down, he can clear again, and he can play the in-game boss. So here, StanCifka can develop a really strong board.
Yeah, that's definitely a very powerful play from Stanislav. And what's interesting is that how he used the imps and the Direwolf in the same way. Direwolf buffed whole board, like +4 attack, 3 imps. Right now it's even buffing the Owl and the Nerubian, but basically +4 for just 2 mana. Direwolf Alpha is not that popular. Some people just cut it from the list, but I think having one can give you an advantage in those situations where Kolento did not expect Direwolf Alpha to be dropped.
It lets you trade up so well with token cards like those little imps and other smaller minions. Like you said, the Zoo list now is quite a tight list because of all the inclusion of the new demon cards, Bane of Doom. It's got a lot greedier in its evolution, and Direwolf Alpha, like I said, gets cut, but we've seen how much value that StanCifka got from this card, so it's maybe worth just running one just so you can trade really well with those implosions. Here, Kolento has some choices to make. Do you think High-Main's the way to go here, or do you need to start dealing with this board?
High-Main is really powerful because even if you take 7 points of damage, High-Main will be able to trade into things, and if High-Main is being traded into, this board can deal with that, but then you also dealt with the board, so it can put you in a good situation. Shredder with the freezing trap makes a lot of sense as well. Shredder will contest the 4/4. The 2/2 will have to return, and being a 4 mana 2/2 wolf, it's not a great card.
The wolf has kind of found its purpose already, and what happens to it now probably isn't as important. He does tap though, finds the Doom Guard, so he does have some burst available to him. I'd be interested if he Arguses here, because one thing Kolento struggled with was, what you could tell with that board, was actually dealing with the minions or trading up. So an Argus here would require him to have either a weapon or an abusive sergeant or something to buff the Shredder.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that can buff Shredder might be a possibility. Oh, he picks up kill command, so with the web spinner, with Animal Companion, and an easy kill, and he can trade with the Defender of Argus. Being still 15 means that he takes over the board, and he has a taunt, and he still has a lot of health, even though he doesn't have cards in hand. He has one very powerful card.
If he had found Leok there, he would have been able to trade, so Leok's another way for the Hunter to trade up. Just find the Misha. Misha's not too bad. A 4/4 body with taunt. It'll protect his life now. Is at half health, and he'll be able to contest any charge minions like Doomguard, for example. So Misha's not too bad either. Huffer would have got on more pressure. So I think any animal companion there was pretty decent. But I quite like the Misha here because it just protects him a little bit.
Definitely. And I like trading with minion because normally this Warlock deck has a lot of buffs, but it doesn't have things that deal 1 damage only. Some people play Mortal Cards, but StanCifka doesn't run any. And from Bane of Doom, just a simple Void Walker is not great compared to Illidan, Mal'Ganis, and the things that you can get.
So this is a good high main turn coming up. High main will put a lot of pressure on StanCifka. Big, bulky minion, really hard to deal with because of its death rattle, and they can start trading. So there's not only does this put pressure on his life, and it puts almost a clock on Kolento now because he's sitting behind a Misha, so he needs to deal the Misha first before he can even touch this high main, who's going to be swinging for 6 damage.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a Flame Imp that doesn't seem good. Double Imp Gang was being discarded. That Flame Imp just trolling Stanislav being in his hand. You don't want to take 3 damage just here. Well, Doomguard has to attack into the 4/4. Stanislav, if he can he even tap?
No.
Looking at that board.
Not at all. He's got Mal'Ganis coming next to him, so that will slow down Kolento a little bit. You might have to start trading. But one thing StanCifka going to be thinking about now, how much burst damage can he do? And can he trade into this Doomguard and still deal considerable amount of damage? It's a lot of this is a scary turn for StanCifka.
Yeah, Kolento, if he has a second kill command, he's just going to win. Flame Imp is not an option. If you life tap, then this quick shot kills you as well. There are so many spells that Kolento can have to finish the game. On the board, he has 12 points of damage right now with the hero power.
This is so scary. He plays the Flame Imp. Oh, that's a really ballsy move.
That's a ballsy move, but that's the move that you say, okay, you will not have things to kill me here, and I need that Flame Imp to take over this board and kill you in 2 turns. Also, like if you think about Mal'Ganis, this is 5 + 7, that's 12 points of damage to face after playing Mal'Ganis, and you will put your opponent in a very bad spot where he has to deal with the whole board.
So here we're going to see some knife juggler RNG. Hoping this Oasis Snapjaw does find a knife to the Doomguard. I really love Golden Snapjaw. It's one of my favorite Golden. He's so cheeky. Look at him, just grinning there. Really happy card there.
Opening his mouth. Yeah, the golden animation is pretty cool.
So he doesn't find the knife to the Doomguard here, so now he needs to consider, does he trade? Mal'Ganis does come down on 9. Could create a few problems, but 6, you can do a lot of damage here. He might just win if he goes for the aggressive stance here.
That's absolutely true. At this point, you're at 15. You only see the Doomguard. If there is a second Doomguard and power overwhelming, that's not enough damage. But why risk it? Your opponent has 2 cards, and as I mentioned, there is no AOE that's going to clear your board. And this puts Stanislav in a position where he is forced to play Mal'Ganis, and he's just counting damage. There is 7 easily, 4 to face, then hero power. So Kolento will be possibly 1 damage off from killing Stanislav and Mal'Ganis at the same time.
So if he draws a card, a minion, Kolento could knife juggler, but he concedes.
So Kolento takes game number 3 versus StanCifka. Very close game. It seemed like Stanislav has an advantage. He has a very good start with double Nurmineg, but Kolento is able to swap the board and be the one being aggressive. And even Mal'Ganis is not saving Stanislav in that spot.
And the story continues of this lineup with StanCifka, the Warlock letting him down once again. I wonder if he regrets taking this Warlock. I'd like to ask him about it, how he felt after this tournament, how he feels overall the Warlock performed for him. So where does he go from here? Does he try and get the win again with the Warlock? He has to play the Rogue? Or does he go for kind of a safer pick here with the Hunter?
I think, personally, I would like to go with the Hunter, to go with the better matchup and win, and then face Kolento after winning a game, to have this situation where, okay, we're 2-2 now, this is the final last match, if I win this, I win the series. But it might not matter for Stanislav that much. He has to win with both decks anyway. And if he just played the Zoo, he can make some adjustments to his style and face Rogue, thinking about, hey, I played this deck, I know how it goes. But he decides to go with Hunter, game number 4, Stanislav versus Kolento, Hunter versus Rogue. If Kolento wins, he takes the series. If Stanislav loses here, he's getting eliminated from the tournament.
If Kolento wins here, he did not win a single game in Ryan Robin, and then ends up in the grand finals in the bracket. So just going to show that even though he can lose a lot of games in the format, the earlier parts of the format, he can still come back and find his way to something like a grand final. So this is a big moment for Kolento to show to the fans and show the event that he is capable of getting back to the top of the bracket.
Can Kolento win when it really matters? But looking at those hands, I think both players have really decent openings. For Kolento, he finds SI7 with the backstab. He has Fan of Knives, Blade Flurry, Eviscerate to deal with things like Nisha, or if there is a lot of minions. And for Stanislav, Haunted Creeper, good opening into Animal Companion, Pilot Shredder. He was thinking there for a moment if it's worth to just coin the Companion. He might decide to coin the Shredder on 3, and then on 5 he will be able to Companion with Quick Shot. A lot of options for him. But now Kolento's turn. What do you think is a good option?
This Haunted Creeper is a bit of a nuisance. He is on turn 3, so you could backstab Fan if he wants to clear it all. But the problem with that is you don't have a combo activator for the SI, so the SI might find more value dealing with a Misha or a Huffer. I think there is some value to playing patient here, waiting for that Animal Companion. But he does just use the backstab and use his weapon to clear up, leaving just only the 1-1, and plays the SI7 agent to clear the last one. So he does clear the board here. I like the way he did this, other than using the Fan, because he puts a 3/3 minion in play, and he can contest stuff like Huffer and Misha.
Yeah, definitely as a rogue, you want to have the minion on board.
So Quick Shot coming down here, just deals with a 3/3 very cleanly, doesn't develop anything of his own. He's hoping Kolento probably doesn't have a 4-drop here, and he actually doesn't. So Kolento needs to decide, does he just dagger up this turn, or does he cycle the Fan? But the Fan can find a lot of value with stuff like Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, absolutely, but on the other hand, he has the Flurry, and I feel like his turns coming forward are not that great, so just cycling a Fan makes some sense. You also need to think, when are you going to refresh the weapon? Right now your weapon has 1 durability, and on turn 5 you are going to play Azure Drake. So the next time you will be able to use your weapon is turn 6. I think it makes sense to cycle a Fan. I don't think it's that important in this matchup overall, but you can be tempted to keeping it because Azure Drake, and then on 6, Fan for 2 is much better than Fan just dealing 1 damage to the board.
But he has the Blade Flurry, like you said, he just goes to the raw Tinkers. That's a very interesting play. What I do like about it, though, it does put the pressure on StanCifka's board when he develops it, so it just gives him some stuff to think about. Does he have Blade Flurry? Should I play more conservative?
Oh wow, he picks up a backstab, so he will be able to clear this Shredder and possibly kill the minion that comes out of it to protect his Azure Drake. This is destroying this weapon, I believe.
To an extent, yes. In his own special way, he could destroy the weapon, but Kolento doesn't give the Ooze the pleasure of doing his job. He didn't get to do his job because the battle cry didn't come out, and now this Ooze sits here thinking, oh man, I want to get rid of that weapon. Give me that opportunity.
That's really interesting that he didn't attack the Ooze. He took the gamble that there is no buff. So for now, Stanislav, if he wants to kill, he gets a Huffer. Leok was... I don't know if Leok was better. Actually, with the Huffer, he can have a clean trade, and you need to clear this Azure Drake, then just go for face with the Ooze. He still has 2 mana, so he will be able to just hero power.
Another thing to consider as well, we were talking about the spell power buff on Azure Drake. So say Stan decides to take a more aggressive stance here, that Fan of Knives is going to be incredible next turn if he doesn't clear this Azure Drake. So if this Azure Drake sticks around, Kolento's going to find a lot of value in that Fan of Knives, which you mentioned sometimes doesn't get as much use, only clearing the Haunted Creeper and stuff like that. He does take the more aggressive stance here, might put the Freezing Trap down to contest this Azure Drake, but the Azure Drake will do its work with the Fan of Knives come next turn.
Yeah, this will be a very big turn for Kolento. Just Fan of Knives, kill the board, draw a card, and then you are not that concerned about the Freezing Trap. On the other hand, the Freezing Trap is going to protect the high main on next turn.
What a fantastic draw there, finding a curved out heal and free body. He can now challenge the Freezing Trap with the heal, and StanCifka doesn't want to send any more healing back to his hand, so this might create a sense of urgency that StanCifka needs to deal with his Azure Drake. He can't deal with it, plays the box off the boom, and now Kolento gets to throw a heal back to his hand if he chooses.
So what are the options for Kolento? Oh my god, there is so much damage in Kolento's hand. If he will be able to refresh the weapon, Deadly Poison, Tinker, and Blade Flurry, just even now having Blade Flurry just dealing 5 mana, 5 damage to the board is just massive, with Eviscerate as well.
So we could send a Drake back to his hand if he wants more card draw, and then maybe run the 3/3 into Dr. Boom, Blade Flurry, and then he can maybe refresh his weapon if he feels he needs to do it. But if he sends a Farseer back to his hand, he could actually trade Blade Flurry, then play the Farseer again and gain the minion advantage. So there's a lot of different ways he can do this.
So he decides to go with the Farseer. Just, you know, the bombs are on board, and Hunter is the deck that wants to be aggressive, wants to deal a lot of damage. So it makes sense. But now, how do you really clear this? Do you trade in Dr. Boom and then you Flurry?
I think so. And then you play the Farseer again, and then you've got board once again. Do a bit of healing. Each Boombox might not do much, but they end up doing 6. He does heal a little bit of that back, and then Kolento is in the driving seat as far as board is concerned.
Yeah, he is in a good situation, and StanCifka immediately follows up with the high main. Dr. Boom is hard to deal with, but high main is even harder.
Oh yeah, high main is such a nuisance here. But Kolento does have access to saps in his deck. He hasn't found one just yet, but sap is really powerful against high main. Like I said, they pay 6 mana to put this really strong, hard-hitting minion on board. And if they're getting to waste that 6 mana, especially against a Hunter, that's really bad for them because they really rely on keeping the momentum, and sap just saps the momentum away from him.
So it seems like this is the moment where you can go aggressive and just create a weapon, Deadly Poison, Tinker, and attack face with both your minion and the weapon. You do have Eviscerate, you do have Sabotage. If high main trades into your minion, you should have enough time. The problem is, if you do that, you are reliant on top decks. If it seems like Kolento wants to go with Sabotage, and with Sabotage you do destroy the high main, you can kill one of the hyenas.
So he goes for the Eviscerate here. That's pretty good. Nice clean clear on the high main initially. Has the body to deal with. Does he drop the Deadly Poison here? It looks like it, so he gets to clean up one of these hyenas as well. And Kolento manages to keep all of his board intact, but Unleash Your Hounds is a really good card right now.
I like this turn by Kolento. I haven't seen that play, and with this he cleared the high main and hyenas and kept the board. And keeping the board as a rogue is so important. But now StanCifka has the possibility to just unleash, clear everything, and then play Mad Scientist, Hero Power, and the board is his.
Back and forth from both these players, both finding answers to deal with each other's board, and this really shows the quality and skill level of the players. He actually might go for face here, doesn't want to just give him the card draw for free. He might force him just to trade in himself, and he can now drop the Mad Scientist and Hero Power if he chooses. Depends if he wants to take even more aggressive stance and kill command, but I doubt we'll see that from him.
I like Mad Scientist.
I think so, Mad. I think Mad Scientist doesn't fetch anything anymore.
Oh, actually, Freezing Trap. Did you mention Freezing Trap? Freezing Trap is pretty good as well, because you then deny the draw.
He does go for Mad Scientist instead. You do value support. I don't think Mad Scientist will find any more traps. I think he only runs 2 Freezing, so he just using it as a body here. But Kolento obviously doesn't know that, and Freezing Trap may cause to be a problem for him at some point.
So Kolento goes for the draw, something that StanCifka actually expected. Pirate Shredder is a good body on board that he can play. He will still have mana. Will he be surprised when he doesn't see a trap? He's definitely happy.
Oh, most certainly. So now this Shredder, as far as he can force a Freezing Trap from hand, make him use 2 mana, but he also has a Safe Sea deck hand to use to pop the trap if he feels he needs to, and he'll still be an activator for Tinkers. So Kolento has a nice answer to this trap that's sitting in his hand right now.
Oh man, there's a Handmaster for StanCifka, but no beasts and just handful of spells. But on the other hand, Kolento is already at 13 and the kill command is presenting 3 to 5 points of damage. So Stan is not out yet, especially with 26 points of health. This is the time for Kolento to be really aggressive.
Haha! The trap is gone, and this charge minion will go back to his hand and never activate with that Tinkers if he needs it. He gets to play an Azure Drake and draw a card. Kolento's on 13 health, but he's healed twice already, so StanCifka has done really well in putting the pressure on his life total, but those heals really helped Kolento sustain at this point.
Absolutely. I think I would love to see Azure Drake and Sabotage here. Just an attack phase with the 4-3. Sabotage will be nice versus weapon or a different minion, but I think this is the point where you just want to clear the board. Your opponent has only 2 cards. He haven't played them for some time, so you can consider those are spells. Maybe kill command quick shot if it's the worst situation. Definitely you don't want to leave the 4-3 minion on board and take that damage.
Kolento's considering does he need the Eviscerate for the burst damage. I do actually like Sabotage, like you suggested, because he keeps that Eviscerate for some extra reach if he for the damage. StanCifka's still on 21, so he's still in a decent health total, but Tinker's Eviscerate and Cypher deckhand will definitely make things a lot better. And a second Highmaster.
Second Highmaster. It's really unlucky for Stanislav. It is a minion, it is somebody, but it will not enable kill commands. But slowly he is dealing that damage. What Stanislav needs to draw next turn to win this game and steal it from Kolento?
Will there be a next turn if he doesn't deal with this board?
There is, how much damage is there incoming? 6, 10, 14, 15, 20. There's, I think he's one off. He will not have, oh actually wait.
Spell power buff on the
he has the mana, he has everything.
So he needs the Hunter's Mark, kill Commander's Azure Drake, or he's going to lose this series.
That's absolutely true. So can Stanislav read into the lethal by Kolento, just having 3 cards in hand? He's seen one Eviscerate already. He's seen a lot of stuff, and he risks it. He passes the turn, and now Kolento has the possibility to just finish it with the cards in his hand. He picks Blade Flurry, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need it. He doesn't even have mana for it at this point. Just attacking with everything, and Kolento is going to take the series, the whole match, winning 3-1 versus Stanislav. Kolento is advancing to the grand final to face Life Coach, and Stanislav has the 3rd place in WCA European Tournament, goes home with 1,500 euros.
We have the grand final dreams here. 2 of the best players in the world currently will face in the finals. It's the dream match. It is the best, like, for skill-wise, Life Coach and Kolento facing each other. It's probably one of the best matches we could have as a spectator.
Yes, it's something we really expected and wanted to see. But you know, Kolento versus Stanislav, I really enjoyed the series. Stanislav winning with Paladin, surprising me personally with that deck, showing really great expertise with the deck and how to play it. On the other hand, Kolento with the Rogue, he lost with Hunter first, right? No, yeah. It was, or was it Rogue?
He lost with the Rogue first.
He lost, yeah, he lost with the Rogue. So you know, the Rogue was this weak link, but on the other hand, Zoo from Stanislav didn't help as well. So let's hear from Kolento and let's see what he has to say about this match.
I think, gentlemen, Kolento, congratulations. You've now secured 3,000 euro and you're moving on to the finals against Life Coach. You're a bit disappointed about your performance yesterday. Some heart of the cards, some RNG were definitely in your favor. Were you happier about your performance today?
Yes, definitely I'm slightly happier. Still, maybe first game wasn't optimal still, but I think I'll catch up.
Are you ready for the final matchup against Life Coach?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, Kolento, again, congratulations, representing Ukraine in Cloud9. That does it for Hearthstone for our first matchup. We're going to get ready for Heroes of the Storm after this. Stay tuned.